What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. Hope everyone is trying to find a way to still have a legendary day. Happy New Year's to all. Um, yeah, we're gonna break this down second to last time for the year. And as always, before we get cracking, it's been a long year. Before we get cracking, we got some bills to pay. Today's episode is sponsored by Power Brand Systems. Need help getting new customers for your business? Let Power Brand Systems help you grow with their powerful tools. Visit powerbrandsystems.com/Niner Faithful Radio for more info. If you like our content and would like to support the show, consider leaving us a tip in our tip jar at ninerfaithfulradio.us/tip jar. Join our exclusive membership community where you get exclusive NFR content not available anywhere else. Join our exclusive chat, 20% off of all non-sale For the Faithful by the Faithful gear, and much more. Visit portal.ninerfaithfulradio.us/login to join. For the Faithful by the Faithful Season 4 apparel is finally here. To see this year's designs and also save 20% off of Season 1 through 3 designs, go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop. Tune in for Madden Stream Wednesday as we stream this week's game on Madden 25. Follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok, and at Niner. All right, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking.
Rice has just set a Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana, touchdown, John Taylor.
Niner Faithful Radio, the show hosted for the faithful, by the faithful, brought to you by Power Brand Systems.
What's cracking, Captain?
How's everybody doing?
You know, it's normally we got a little bit to process, the loss and everything like that. We got some time to kind of, get over it, 24-hour rule, all that. Well, I guess, all that type of shit that we like to say, and it was very frustrating because really up until let me look at the box score real quick. Up until essentially that last pick, essentially until that last pick and then that last touchdown, there was I actually thought we were going to win. I legitimately did.
I 100% agree.
I was trying to, in my head, I was trying to prepare like, hey, any given Monday, and so, yeah, we can step back. And so for those of you, we got people in the chat as always. Christine, never thought I heard you. Any update on Brock Purdy and the injury? Yeah. So let's not, because Jason was talking me off a fucking ledge. I was about to jump off of the 400 fucking block of fucking Levi's yesterday, bro. I swear to God.
Simmer down, TJ. Simmer down.
JB, it's funny. I almost missed the last hour. Don't remember when he went out. But, like, my eyes were glued immediately on Brock Purdy on the sideline. Like, I did not let him out my sight. They were trying to talk me off the ledge. I was about to fucking jump off. It was so it is fine. He's basically, Kyle said he probably won't make. He's not going to.
It's an elbow contusion, is what it is.
Contusion.
So basically, he banged the frack out of his elbow, and it hurts like hell. And he's probably done for the year. There's literally no reason it's going to hurt. Probably for a week. I mean, you guys have all smashed your funny bone on something.
Yeah.
Now imagine doing that with a guy that weighs about 220 pounds. landing on top of you and everything. So it's just a really, really bad funny bone kind of a thing.
Assume Steve-O won his fantasy league.
Yep.
Hola, what's up, Sentinel? How you doing? Yeah, Miss Veronica, we're definitely gonna get into some Jake moodiness.
Did you miss her
in this
first one?
What happened?
Did you get this one from her?
Happy New Year's.
How you doing?
Yes, love to you as well. Blessings to the new year to you, bruh, and to everybody out there. I'm not a big New Year's Eve guy. I may have a shot of Henny at midnight, depending on how the night's going or if I'm even awake or whatever. I might have a shot at Henny, but the way I look at it, March 18th is my New Year's Eve. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I did miss that. My bad.
Merry New Year to you, Miss Teresa.
Miss Teresa, Merry New Year.
I know I'm weird by not saying Merry. Everybody's like, "What did you just say?" Saying Merry instead of Happy sends everybody. Everybody's like, "What?"
When I heard nerve pain, yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
I mean,
y'all don't want to check the chat from last night. I'm just gonna say that for like your boy was panicking. Bruised elbow. Yeah, essentially what it sounds like is he hit the fuck out of his funny bone.
Yeah.
Like hella hard, basically. Moody, you better be
gone. And I've had that before where I've had I was too close to a batter one time and he swung the bat and it just hit me. It didn't break my arm or anything, but he hit the bat and I couldn't move my arm for like a week just because it hurt so bad with that. So I mean, he'll be fine.
Well, to my credit, I'm looking at Brock on the sideline. I'm seeing everybody come over and dap him up and everything like that. And Tim, for those who don't know, obviously I was at the game. So if I'm going to listen to anything, it's going to be the KNBR, the Niners broadcast. But I don't listen to the games on TV. I listen, even road games. I listen to it, the Niners broadcast, even actually in Seattle. I was surprised I was able to pull that off, but I was able to listen to the actual Niners broadcast. So they were panicking. Like Tim Ryan was like, he's not lifting his arm. I hate to speculate.
I believe most of the fan base was doing that exact same thing.
It was Tim Ryan and Greg Papa that were sending me into a panic. And so I'm sitting there the whole time, I've never been so anxious for a Kyle press conference in my fucking life.
Want to say what's up to Steve-O and Sentinel. Don't know if I said hi. And what's up to you, fellas?
Christine, Happy New Year to you. Well, I scored 11th few play. I scored 11th few points, drafted CMC, and had a 6-8 record. Huh. Okay.
I did not. This is the first year I did not win a single league. I'm like, fuck, man. But my betting has been on point this year. I doubled my money last night.
I just looked up Jimmy G threw 7 touchdowns, 5 picks his first 5 games as a 49er. They gave him a max contract. It's just cool. It's still better. I mean, we have a lot to address in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
We do. So, okay.
We have a lot of content for this offseason.
Oh, this is going to be one of the biggest off seasons we probably had in the show's history. So there's a lot to unpack there. So we'll start to break it down for y'all. So officially Brock's okay. No reason to play him. I think what made it feel worse is I'm like, is Brock about to be affected next season in a game that meant absolutely jack shit?
This is one of those ones where it's a year-long injury. Yeah. He's not going to be available to the end of next season. Then I'm just like, I think, although I don't think, obviously, if you think Kyle's going to be fired, sorry, you're wrong. No. It's just not happening.
Jed officially came out and said.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, we've been saying it for months.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, fire Kyle. I'm like, you're not firing Kyle. So,
no.
So I'm kind of glad Jed put that to bed. But
I am too.
The only way, and I could honestly see it, that in a game like last night, we lose Brock for the entirety of next season for the most part because he's playing in some game that it's irrelevant for the most part. Then I would almost see that being a fireable moment. You know what I mean? Like, but other than what do we say? Besides him doing something unethical and unlawful or completely losing the locker room, he wasn't getting fired this year. But something like that.
I hate to get into that because you never know how Detroit plays it and everything like that. But look, if you want to break it down to his basic form, I will say the first field goal he missed had me feeling a lot different. You go into halftime with an 11-point lead. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable, and I don't think they would have gotten the lead.
Definitely would have had to work for it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is if somebody was in a coma, right, and just woke up today, New Year's Eve of 2024, and said, "Hey, I'm a diehard Niner fan. You know, I see our 6-11 record, or sorry, 6-10 right now, 6-10 record. You know, all that. Tell me what happened." I would say go watch last night's game.
Yeah,
go watch last night's game. The point, the crazy thing about it is I thought that was Brock's best game of the year by far.
Up until that second interception, even the first one, okay, you get one interception a game, okay. I mean, you don't want one, but you know what I mean. At that point, with one interception, with three going, okay, I can deal with that. But that second interception, like you just said, probably killed what is honestly one of the better games he's had in his career, almost.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I thought, like, is that hyperbole? You know, is that just a little bit of recency bias? But I mean, he was fucking shredding them. It was basically, that's gonna be my next point, Miss Teresa. This is exactly to the point I'm basically getting to, is
Miss Veronica.
That to me, or Miss Veronica, my bad. That is the sum of the 2024. I thought it was his best season. He was cooking them. To me, it was very similar to the New Orleans game in 19. You know, it had a little different, but it had that kind of vibe. I mean, it legitimately seemed like no team was going to be stopped. It literally seemed like everybody was just going to score touchdowns.
It was a very exciting game to watch. I mean,
it was. Even
people who weren't part of it or weren't rooting for either team were having a good time watching because they're like, this game is fucking fun to watch.
You know, in a game that, let's be real, they should have fucking, in theory, you know, on paper, they should have blew us out the fucking water. You know, that game should have been over, basically.
They talked like they did after the game. I don't know if you saw some of them.
I didn't.
They talked a whole lot.
Their fans, and that's why I was a little bit emotional last night, because they were fucking coming into Levi strutting. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I remember, like, I told you about that Cry Gross fan I saw that had the cane. It was pimp walking and everything before the game. And I was trying What's up, McNiner? I got it, bro. Walking around, strutting and acting like he was king shit, and I was looking for him after the game.
Same old sorry ass Rams. So long.
Division champions. So
yeah, shit. My boy Dan,
really, truthfully,
he's been blowing up my phone all day.
Truthfully, I'm actually kind of glad. You know, yeah, they just I don't know. They started some type of chant at the end of the game. I don't know what they were saying.
Jared Goff or something like that. It was something. I know it's it was something with Goff.
Okay. Champs in the building. So I knew we had to run up the score on them in the first half. My surprise, we were. Yeah, exactly. But the second half, we did exact opposite. Can we fool Kyle into thinking it's the first half? That's what I'm talking about. The camera, the 2024 summed up in one game, as we looked absolutely cooking, like almost like the Bears game, where it's like, where the fuck has this been all year? You know, and you
some of the play designs in the first half, holy shit!
Ricky Pearsall, you know what I'm saying? And you know how many times I was, let's go, baby! You know, yesterday and everything, I was so fired up. I wanted to I've never wanted to beat a non-divisional rival. Like, obviously, anytime I'm at either stadium, but especially the Field of Jeans, you know what I'm saying? It's Yams, Shecock, you know, Cardinals, like Cry Girls, you know, Whacker. Those games bring a little extra oomph to me, you know? But I never, because they were acting like fucking, they were going to blow us out. And at the end of the game, I was walking around like, where was all this shit in January, bruh? like y'all were really walking around like this is the fucking Super Bowl. And I even was talking to a Lions fan who was cool and shit like that. And I was chopping it up to him. I was like, look, bro, I got no hate for y'all. I was like, if we didn't play y'all last year in the NFC Championship game and y'all would have made it to the Super Bowl, I would have been going for the Lions, bro. I was like, my mom was from Dearborn, Michigan. You know, I was like, I got a shit ton of family that are Lions fans. You know? And so I was like, I have no animosity towards y'all. You know, I was like, but y'all
It's starting to be some.
a little bit. You could definitely tell the players. I mean, rumor is Juwan Jennings is still pushing that nigga through the wall in the back of the end zone.
Look, man, look, the joke in hockey is you get 2 minutes for being a man for slamming somebody in the boards.
Yeah.
The brother got a penalty for being a man. That is playing to the whistle. Between that and the legend says he's still, blocking no dude in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Look, if he gets a penalty every
NFC
game or NFC Championship game. Look, if he gets a penalty every damn game because that's how he's blocking somebody, again, give that man another contract. I want to see everybody do that.
What have we been saying? If given the opportunity right now, I would slide Debo's money to Juwan Jennings right now.
Yeah,
straight up.
BA money over.
Send some of that BA money over. Like there's
you know what? You don't deserve this year. It's going over here to Juwan.
Yeah. When did the Lions fans think we disrespected them? I know people were fucking roasting Eminem last year. I know that. I know.
When you talk that much, you want that much smoke, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? So I mean,
bruh, you don't know. And you know what? Everybody talks shit about that speech, the I Want Winners speech. I think that's one of the dopest speeches by a head coach. And I think besides hiring Harbaugh, Aldon Smith, all that type of shit, I think one of the biggest things to turning around the Niners organization was Mike Singletary sending Vernon Davis back to the locker room.
He put discipline and just what's the word? Not discipline and hard work back in there. What's up, Bob Money?
What's up, Bob Money? Haven't seen you in a while, bro. Hope everything's all good. I mean,
it was in a way it was kind of corny, but at the same time, that's the kind of stuff that you want in your organization. You know what I mean? So
I think the problem with Mike Singletary is he was a great motivator of men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I believe Mike Singletary could get you to run through a brick wall for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. He could easily talk me into doing that. There
was a reason why it was when I saw videos of last year at the Hall of Fame dinner they have the night before the ceremony when they get their jackets and everything like that. And it was Mike Singletary that came up and handed Patrick Willis his jacket. That's not a coincidence, bro. That was done on purpose.
Yeah.
And so I think that Mike Singletary, I think should be, bad coach. Like, I understand that. You deserve to be fired, all that. But I think that the history books are a little too unkind to him versus, I think he should definitely be looked at a better light than he is as a Niner head coach.
He's one of those people where it's like not everybody's meant to be the general. Somebody has to be a sergeant. Someone has to be the first lieutenant. Someone has to still be in charge in the trenches. Mike Singletary as like a linebackers coach and even as a DC, he would be exactly what like Saleh and D'Amico was, that energy and all that kind of stuff. That was Singletary as a DC. When you look at the offensive side, it's more analytical, a little bit more brainy. So you're not as emotional constantly. So that's where he seemed to lose a little bit of it because that's just not what he's there for. That's not his forte. And he didn't build the staff around him good enough where he could let somebody else really run that aspect of the team. He was trying to run it off of hoorah, kind of stuff. And for certain players, you saw their careers take off with huge trajectory. It just doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. So as we look at this game and everything like that, Jason, I am proud to say this. Back to the Lions fans. So I was like, where was this in January? I mean, it's the same thing we said if we beat the Chiefs, right? They could simply go, I looked at him. I said, "Hey, do me a favor. Go look at that 24 George Halas trophy." I was like, go to the museum, check out that 24 George Halas trophy for me, bro. And I was like, damn, 59 Super Bowls and y'all ain't been to shit. I was like, y'all acting real arrogant for being the Browns of the NFC.
What up, Theory?
Let's be real. The Lions are the Browns of the NFC, cuz. Thomas, yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah, I thought individual players. Look, Nick Bosa. There's three things that I think impressed me last year that make me still feel positive going into next year. This team didn't quit. Clearly, this team was fighting, has professional pride. Kyle hasn't lost the locker room. All those type of things. You're smoking rocks. That was a football team that was playing to win last night.
Yeah.
Number two, obviously, I mean, I've said it. I've said it before on the show. I'm going to say it again. Priority B and C of this offseason is to extend George Kittle and Fred Warner and make them lifelong Niners after yesterday. And Nick Bosa. I've called out Nick Bosa so many times on the show this year, Jason.
Oh, he showed up to play yesterday. He
showed up to play. He talked about in the locker room that like he felt like in the Miami game, his energy wasn't high. And he goes, I had to check myself in this week. He goes, people seem to forget he was hurt in 2020. So that Miami game was the first time in Nick Bosa's career that he played in a game that did not matter. Every game of Nick Bosa's career has mattered, essentially. Obviously last year against the Yams didn't matter, and I'm sure you could break down some, clinching playoffs already and stuff like that. But was cracking, Tommy. Damn, the chat's cracking today.
Chat's ready for 2025. Fuck this year.
Yeah, right. Fuck this year, bro. So, those are things I was definitely impressed with yesterday. I felt Malik Mustafa. I think we might have found our starting free safety.
For sure.
I think that's some. I'm not opposed to bringing in competition, or anything. But if you put a gun to my head and said, list our starters, Malik Mustafa is our starter at free safety.
Yep, and have him, slide and then just put Huff over there, and we're good.
Yep, I think you're good, and you have. I wouldn't be surprised, Jair Brown. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make the roster. I think he will, just because of the rookie contract and things of that nature. But
we still need backups, and who knows? He might.
Yeah, exactly. Better. And some people are better in backup roles. Need to try and
again. Not everybody needs to be a general. Somebody's got to.
They're not going to. I mean, Thomas, come on, bro. They're going to pay him more than $25 million.
Yeah, look, look. There's quarterbacks out there making 35, 40, that are like the 20th best quarterback in the league.
Trevor Lawrence. You mean to tell me right now that off his body of work, I understand it hasn't looked as pretty this year, but off of his body of work, you mean to tell me that Brock Purdy does not deserve to make more than Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Come on. Where I fell out with Trevor Lawrence is when we played him and Fred Warner says, they don't know what we're doing. And he looked at him and he said, yeah, you're right. I was like, hey, you never admit that, bruh. As a quarterback,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never admit you never say some shit like that, bruh. And number two, like, that's just like Steve used to talk about it. That like sometimes in the Niner huddle, let's say, there was issues with the headphones, whatever. Steve would just say, fuck it. And just do like, I know this offense. I know this team and everything like that. Fuck it. Jerry, go do this. And I understand he was throwing to the GOAT. So it's a little easier to say, hey, Jerry, get open. It's a little easier when you're throwing it to the GOAT. But,
go out
and
post.
Just like, let's just do this. And
remember how we played in the backyard? Do that.
Yeah, exactly. And of course it comes with repetition and hey guys, I want all the smoke. Tommy's like, hey, I'm there. I ain't gonna lie, I might have called out a person or two last night. Your boy wasn't exactly the most innocent in the entire world. Because I was pissed because to me, I wanted to shut them up so bad. And it wasn't. I do not feel like they beat us. I don't. We threw that ball game away, and that's what pisses me off the most. If they came and they just simply were like, I know everybody's hard on the defense, and yeah, I'm not going to say the defense played a great game, but that was a damn good offense they're going to. You know, and you clearly saw their speed. Their speed killed us, bro. Especially, I would believe it was Gibbs that last touchdown where he just went off this, and as soon as he hit that sideline, I was like, he's gone, bro. I was like, he's gone. You know, it was
Jameson. Those two guys they were on fire last night.
It was fine if you come out and like what did I say, Jason? Like I wouldn't have been mad if the game played out the way it played out. We lost by 6 points. Let's be real, we lost by 12. I would have not been mad about that if we didn't make the mistakes. If we did it, you know what I'm saying? The play right before halftime, you get George Kittle gets down to the 10-yard line. We're getting ready to go up 2 touchdowns. And then you have Jacob Cowing running in, which I thought was kind of a bullshit call because they ran into each other anyway. I thought that was a little ticky-tack, but fine. Okay, letter of the law.
You know why? You know why that was called, right?
Why?
Because he doesn't know how to act. Had he just kind of looked stupid and played stupid and just like looked like he was looking for the ball back to Brock like this and kept running, fine. But the fact that he looked up and then put his hands up like this, like, oh shit, you're right there, that's why they flew the flag. If he had a little bit of an acting job right there, it would have been fine. But because, like I said, he looked up and was like, oh shit, and everything, they had to throw the flag. And by the way, unfortunately, we'll see you next season, Jacob Cowing. He ain't getting on the field next week.
No, he's not getting. He's in Kyle's doghouse. I think. Look, we've said it on the show, but I definitely think it's official. They could be. They're either completely naive or they're just. What is Kyle gonna say? Yeah, he's gone. Like I mean, But Jake Moody's officially a problem, bro, because you're costing us ball games. You're costing us ball games.
I'll say this: the 58-yard field goal.
Yeah.
One, we should not have gone for that field goal. You already have a kicker who is basically he's tilting at that. He said he was tilted completely at that point. It's borderline abuse to put somebody out there who's just that far gone. Honestly, that's the way I feel about it. You're just out there, if there was ever a chance for him to dig himself out of the hole, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And you can tell because he also missed the point after later on. But also that 58-yard field goal, that's also a shit call by Kyle. Because one, we missed the field goal, so now they have better field position. If we just gone for it. Just go for it, Kyle.
Yeah, I looked it up right now.
Read the fucking room. You have a kicker who can barely, it's not that he's having trouble keeping his head above water. He's drowning. At that point, mentally, he is drowning. And you go out there for a long-ass field goal? Nah, you go for that.
And especially at that point, you're only down 3 points.
Exexactly.
Kyle said it was a gotta have it. Kyle was like a gotta have it. I was like, and I'm looking at it right now. So we have 13:25 left in the game.
That's right, because right
down by 3 points. Yep. You're down by 3 points. I understand we literally never stopped them. Like we hadn't at that point, and then continue. Not at that point, and then through the rest of the second half, we didn't stop them from scoring one time. I understand that, and they went ahead and it led them to a field goal. But you're only down 3 points at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if he would have punted, I would have I understand Kyle's philosophy. If you say, hey, look, our defense hasn't stopped jack shit all night, and it is 4th and 10, and let's be real, at this point, it was we all saw it coming. I mean, we didn't like to admit it at the time, but you saw that the team was collapsing. You saw it at that point. And so I didn't like the play call before because I'm like, and yeah, the pass was incomplete to I believe it was to Juwan. But I'm like, you if you're gonna play, I have no problem playing for the field goal there, but we gotta make it less than 58 yards.
Yeah, it's just too long. If it had been like a chip shot or something along, like I said, does he make that point after if he doesn't have to suffer going missing that 58? You know what I mean? Because at that, like I said, at that point, that broke him probably 100% at that point. So, appreciate
Thanks,
it,
bro. Appreciate it.
but yeah, just and then like I said, we gave them better field position. That to me is more on Kyle than it is on Moody. Now, the only good thing you could say about Moody is that there is the aspect of since the high ankles before his high ankle sprain, he was fucking on fire. We had literally nothing. He only missed what 13 of 14. So
It was 12 of 13. It was 12 of 13.
Okay. So he was on fire. So the question beckons, because his replacements were so good, where they didn't, both of them total went 8 for 8. Did he pull himself back in because he was worried? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
did they rush him back? Yes.
Or did he rush himself back?
Or did he rush himself
back? He's seen slipping.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't want to get Wally pipped. I think he was a little stupid for that. You're a third-round pick. If Jake Moody, let's just say Jake Moody was done for the year or only came back against Miami or the Lions or the Yams or something like that, the second Sheecock game after the bye week, whatever it was, he was not going to get Wally pipped this year. You're a third-round pick, bro.
He could have politicked it to get a chance next season.
Yeah, it would have. They would have at least gave him a chance. So going in to getting over just it's the constitute of errors, y'all. And that's what just is frustrating me is how many. Yeah, Lynch was pissed, and you know what? If I'm Jake Moody, more than missing kicks or whatever, that's what scares me the most. Because that's the man who, Kyle's in charge of the 53. John Lynch is in charge of the 90.
Yeah.
And push comes to shove, if one of they've always said it's a partnership, but if one of them had to go, it's going to be Lynch before Shanahan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so do I feel? If you ask me, who do I feel has more pressure on them, this coming year, Lynch or Shanahan? I think it's Lynch. I think it's Lynch because let's be real, John. The only reason John Lynch isn't working, if we would have won the Super Bowl in 19, John Lynch is broadcasting for Amazon right now.
Possibly.
I really truly think that the only thing that is keeping him. Yeah, I think now this is the thing that I will say is the advantage that we had over last year and one of the reasons of missing the playoffs is a positive. Now that we could talk like that, is we didn't have to wait until basically every single DC was already hired. If we decide to move on, we can officially start that process.
I don't think
day one. I don't think we are either because I think I think two things are who's better, right? Because they're not promoting within, right? We're not promoting within. I've heard people say Flores. Man, you think Minnesota is about to let Brian Flores go?
Well, he can't because it's a lateral movement.
Lateral move. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, bro. Come on. So any DC that you could say is better, we're not promoting him to head coach. So we're not going to get anybody better. We don't have anybody to promote within. And I could see Kyle saying that, hey, he got a year under his belt, took his punches, took his licks, He didn't
have all his players.
He didn't have all his players. And he's going to do it for continuity's sake.
I don't know. I think there's two options if we don't want sourcing. Either we do. I disagree in the fact that we do have somebody to promote from within.
Who?
Staley.
Yeah, but is Kyle gonna come off of wanting to run the shit out of defense? Like he's basically, forced everybody either has gotten people from that, or let's be real, he forced Steve Wilkes to run his system.
Oh yeah.
He said you're gonna run shit.
There is an option from within.
Yeah. Okay, fine, Staley. Okay, cool.
Outside?
Is he gonna outside? Go ahead.
Jeff Ulbrich. Let's
Shoot it.
We're not. I don't think. Look, as much as we all want Salah, we all love Salah.
Yes,
Salah
Salah's not
has
coming back.
more of a personal connection
Mm.
with
Michael LaFleur.
Yeah,
Michael LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur than he does with Shanahan. I don't think it's necessary that he doesn't like it here or there, I should say, or he doesn't like Kyle or anything like that. They were best friends in each other's wedding. And then him and Kyle know each other. They're probably pretty good friends because of work. Who are you going to help out more? Your literal best man in your wedding and vice versa? Or someone who's a really good friend, but you know him from work? You know what I mean? You can help your boy more.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think
That's
he's
clear.
coming back here.
I think Kyle would say what I say to my coworkers. We're not friends. We're coworkers. I'm cool with y'all. You know, I have no problem. I get along with all my coworkers. But we're not boys, bro. We're coworkers. You feel me? We're not friends. We're friendly. You know, versus
We're here to do
somebody
a job.
who's literally
Let's
your
just get
boy.
along with it.
Yeah, who literally is somebody that's like, this is my boy. You know?
Yeah.
I wonder how much Saleh and Shanahan have actually even talked since he's left.
Probably not a whole lot, to be honest. I wouldn't think that,
Yeah.
one, they're both
Like-
head coaches. They're busy as fuck.
We know that Sean McVay and Kyle talk in the offseason. We know that.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that Saleh and Shanahan talk in the offseason. I think he's more likely to talk to McDaniels than he is than he is Saleh. So to Kyle's former, I've heard he's a dick to his fucking, DC coaches or whatever. Like I've
Yeah, he
heard
seems like that old school drill sergeant kind of a dick. Like,
Yeah.
that's the vibe I get from working with Kyle.
I've heard Lynch has had to come into a meeting room once or twice to kind of simmer
Calm him down.
things
Like,
down.
Just
You know,
bring it down a little bit, brother. You're gonna run off
I've heard
everybody.
that. Like I've heard John Lynch has had to play peacekeeper on more than one occasion. You know,
Which is
so
the reason why we all wanted somebody like Fangio or
Yeah.
make a Bill Belichick, like that elder statement. Steve Wilkes. It's probably why that's never going to happen again, where we can get somebody like somebody established like that that's an old school kind of guy.
Mhm.
It's probably a reason we're never going to get one of those guys. Because Kyle's probably going to yell, and they're going to look at Kyle like, "Who the fuck are you yelling at?"
yeah, like if Kyle thinks that he's gonna run shit with Bill Belichick,
Yeah, exactly.
you gotta he'd be like, calm down here, Junior. Look,
Well,
I
Bill
will
Belichick's
always.
now the head coach at UNC, so he can see his girlfriend more.
I mean, that's the privilege of being able to like you want to go.
Yeah, when it
coach
comes to
for
the
UNC,
NFL program, whatever you want, man.
yeah, it's just that's the privilege of being Bill Belichick. Who before he was the head coach, he was a great DC. He was Bill Parcells DC.
Yeah, he was a terrible head coach in Cleveland.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was garbage in Cleveland. We all know the Jets, or maybe some of y'all don't know the Jets fiasco because some of y'all could be a little too young to remember that.
Yeah, that was definitely another fiasco. Damn, I'd forgotten about that one, to be honest. It was so long ago. It was like 25 some years ago. So
Hey, sometimes it takes 70 years to find
Hey,
the
man.
one.
it just happens that she was born 50 years after you, kind of. Oh,
Yeah, hey. I mean, look, bro, I've never.
He's going to have no problem recruiting. He's already got, he's recruited from the same age bracket as his girlfriend.
I'm telling you, bro. I mean, I never like to talk about things like that. I mean, my sister's dad and my mom are 23 years apart. There was plenty of times I used to go out for when they were dating, and they would go out for drinks or whatever, that people would think she was his dad. He was her dad.
Yeah.
That actually happened quite a lot.
My wife's 9 years older than me. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like,
My ex one, Mary was 9 years exactly. She was exactly 9 years older than me. Hey, they say women are like wine; they get better with age. Now,
it's true. That is a very.
It's
true
just
statement.
I guess, yeah. So far, what I've learned in my life, I would say that's a true statement. Of course, it's the opposite, reaction. But guess what? When you're Bill Belichick, you've won 6 Super Bowls as a coach, 2 or 3 as a DC.
Mhm.
you're multi. I mean, he might be close to 100 million. Throughout what he's made in his career and everything like that.
It does happen every once in a while. I don't mean we're not going to make fun of it. I'm still going to clown on it.
Oh yeah. I mean, so where we stand up as we get, as we're starting to get very close to wrapping it up here. I mean, like if I took off my Niner hat and I was just a neutral observer of football, was I entertained? Was it a good football game? Yeah. Yeah, ages ain't nothing but a number, but 13 will get you 15. That's what the homies always say to me. Age ain't another number, but 17 will get you 13.
But that's because of Aaliyah and R. Kelly back in the day?
Yeah. Who literally named her album Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. It's so funny from a little kid, like I remember the Aaliyah dying. I remember R. Kelly. I remember this is what got me about the whole R. Kelly situation. I was like, man, where was all this shit in 2002 when Dave Chappelle was making you the Piss on You and Piss on You remix, and like what I'm saying, bro, we've been knowing R. Kelly is doing this, bro. Like, Anyway, you're only as young as you feel. True. I feel pretty old sometimes. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Was I entertained? Did they show pride? Did we see a possible breakout game from, are we going to look back at this game and say, hey, this was Ricky Pearsall's breakout game? I hope so. Possibility. They say a player in it makes the biggest jump in his NFL career from year 1 to year 2. That's what makes me excited about Mustafa Pooney, Ricky Pearsall. Is it just me, Jason? See, I was just going to say that. Is it just me, or I'm not on the Isaac Guerendo hype train?
I am. The man still doesn't know how to play running back for the most part. He's still, which is why you see him on these passes that he's catching. He's still learning how to play running back. And if he gets that corner, he's gone. I think our running back room is going to be one of the most exciting things to see in this offseason, considering look at how much talent we have back there. Yeah,
I remember watching the Jerry Sentinel. Sentinel's comment just totally threw me off, bro. I remember watching the Jerry Lee Lewis special, and that's when I found out he married him. I think she was like 14, his 14-year-old cousin. Things were a lot different. That's my whole thing. Is hey, chomo-ness and all that is not acceptable and everything. I just want to see the surviving Elvis Presley special, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I just I love it, Jason. You see, he hits the corner, he's ghost. I thought his receiving skills showed up great. I thought he looked better as a receiver, yesterday than he did at running back.
I thought he ran fine. We went away from the run for what Kyle did.
16 straight
Kyle things.
16 straight passes to end. Before that, I think it was the first or second pick. It was 10 straight passes. And then to end the game, it was 16 straight.
Again, Kyle does things like that. And so, like I said, with Guerendo, you want to talk about somebody. Yeah, exactly. That's the reason why I think he's definitely still learning the position. And if you want to talk about an actual heir apparent kind of thing, style-wise, he's closer to it than Mason, CMC.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that.
Mason's definitely more of the heavy bruising type of guy. We can have our own little thunder and lightning type thing going on. Just like I said, which I'm loving. And we're not even talking about Israel Abakanda, who has probably faster than both of them.
Yeah, I hate to say this because it's CMC. I mean, I hate to say hyperbole. You and I were on air, Jason, discussing whether CMC was the greatest trade in Niner history last year. So for me to say he shouldn't be on the team, the Niners made a mistake to extend him or whatever like that, it's nearsightedness. You know what I'm saying? That's stupid. The man was offensive MVP of the year, and let's be real, if MVP wasn't a quarterback award, probably would have been
would've
fucking
won that, yep.
MVP. But I almost, if you told me what to you is a better running back room or a better, running back situation, is CMC, that we don't know how healthy he's going to be. I mean, he is obviously going to be recovered from his PCL injury by the time next year rolls around. But
next year won't be two Achilles. Next year it'll be two shoulders.
Yeah, my whole thing is CMC, greatest trade of the Shanahan era, arguably him or Trent. I think you give it slightly more to CMC. But is it a CMC who only a fool wouldn't have questions? Look, it might only take one snap next year for those questions to go away. But to not have questions about CMC going into the season is a fool. You're a fool. Or a running back room of Guerendo, Mason, and Isaac. I'm not even going to try that.
Israel Anaconda.
Israel Anaconda. I would take the latter.
I mean, so CMC's 28. Between 28 and 30 is usually when you see those running backs, they start to deteriorate because of all their injuries and the pounding they take. So, I mean, if you go with the old Bill Walsh, what do you do with players? You get rid of them, what? 1 year too early.
Yep,
this is about the time. This is when he's at his highest point before it drops off, in theory, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, after look, you had to give CMC this year. Like you had to. Coming off of the year he had last year. But yeah, it would be going into this offseason that I think you would start having some conversations about.
I would listen. I would not hang up the phone if someone called about him.
Yeah, I would listen. I would say, what are you talking about? Especially, I guess we'll transition a little bit into offseason to talk a little bit. Jason, are you team trade up, stay put, or are you team trade back and get more picks?
Both. And here's what I'm saying. I'm team trade up in the fact that we need somebody immediately. And I think that someone like Kelvin Banks, who I'm getting very high, I'm sure you guys have talked, heard me talk about him a lot. Kelvin Banks, I want someone like him, or Audetane. I can't remember his first name. He's the tackle out of Minnesota. I think if there's a run on tackles, you need to hurry up and get those guys. But I also think, yes, we do need to trade down and get volume picks at the same time. So I still think, like I said, I think we trade up to get our first pick, and then we trade back for the rest of them to try and stockpile picks.
See, that I'm kind of with you. 94, so he's 30. So, okay, I see where David's going with that comment.
I'm also not – who do I find more durable between the two? Over the course of their career, Derrick Henry has proven to be the more durable player. CMC's had injury issues for a good portion of his career.
Dion was a free agent.
Yes, we brought Dion signed with us.
Dion was a free agent.
Derrick Henry's one of the few players I think I would not. He's like, okay, I'll let you play till you're 33, 35.
Now the just non-draft day trade, because the greatest draft day trade in team history is a draft day trade to draft Jerry. That's the greatest draft day trade in team history. Lightweight, you could make an argument. The OJ Simpson trade was one of the best trades in history because it essentially forced us to draft Joe Montana. That didn't kind of turn out too bad, but it's basically
OJ got a great acting career out of it.
Yeah. Got to come home. OJ's from Frisco. So honestly, the two great the competition is between the Steve Young trade and the CMC trade. I think are the two contenders for greatest trade in team history. Now I'm with you, Jason. Like, to me, I want an impact player. I want somebody that you can plug in day one. And you say, like this year with Dominic Pooney, why did I say that Dominic Pooney was my rookie of the year? my guess for Rookie of the Year. I said because if he can make a weakness that was clearly our biggest weakness on offense last year was right guard / right tackle. Cost us a championship, at least offensively. That's what cost us a championship. And he took that and not only leveled it out, but turned it into a strength. Because I don't know, it's been a couple weeks since I checked it, but last time I checked, we were better running to the right than we were to the left this year.
Seems like we were.
And I think Dominic Puni had a huge, huge part in that. So I want an impact player. If you can't get me an A+, hey, this is a person you're talking about going up in the rafters and all that type of talent, I'm trading back. Because I'm with Miss Veronica. I do think it's so weird because I think that we can legitimately be a Super Bowl contender next year.
Yeah. If we're healthy, we're fine. It's just we got to get healthy. Obviously, we have holes, but the health is the big issue. So
you would ask me what was the biggest difference between, because you had clearly two very injured teams last year or yesterday. You had two very clearly injured teams. What's the difference? They have better depth. And why is that better depth? Because they've drafted better. Yeah. Right? I think that's been one of the Niners' biggest issues this year. I remember talking to my boy about it. So what? You've got Reuben Foster and Solomon Thomas, basically bust. Mm-hmm. You get Mike McGlinchey, who I wouldn't call Mike McGlinchey a bust.
No.
I would give it a C, a B-, where he was a good player. He was a starter his whole Niner career, but he just wasn't an A grade. Like, this is what clearly the Niners do. The Niners pay their A+ players and they let their B/C players go in free agency and recruit the comp picks. That's the Niners' philosophy. Mike McGlinchey wasn't an A player, an A-list player, so they weren't going to pay him. But I don't think he necessarily failed as a draft pick.
No.
19? Obviously, probably one of the best picks in the Shanahan, regime. Okay, Sentinel. I'll go with a C+. I'll accept a C+ for Mike McGlinchey. 2020, obviously, Javon Kinlaw, wash. And 2021, Trey Lance, wash. Didn't get one in 22, didn't get one in 23, and we'll see what's up about Ricky Pearsall. That's why the Niners are in the position they are in this year. Is it basically what's the best player I named, Jason, out of those first-round picks? Nick Bosa.
And if you take him off, it's a big drop down to McGlinchey.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the Niners' biggest problem. So, and look, I know Grant went and had a tweet. Grant Cohn had a tweet that broke down who the Niners drafted, and it was more than the first round, but who the Niners drafted and who they could have drafted and all that shit. I'm like, okay, well, what's missing there is context. Was this player X a need versus, sure, Tristan Wirfs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but you had Mike McGlinchey, and they knew they were going to trade for.
Were you talking about his tweet where he said that we picked Malik Mustafa one pick for Bucky Irvin?
No, I'll pull it up right now, bro.
I know he was bitching, moaning. Something. I didn't quite understand what. I mean, like, Mustafa's been fine for us. Why are we bitching about Bucky? We didn't need necessarily a running back, Grant. So.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing that upset me about this is you're missing. Hold on, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was Grant Cohn, the little knockoff guy of him. I'm not seeing it right now. Okay, whatever.
Playing great.
So anyway,
Kinlaw had his best year is still a low bar to get over.
Cool, awesome. But you can't tell me, I don't care if he had a Hall of Fame type season. You can't tell me Javon Kinlaw wasn't a bust.
For us, he's a bust. For the most,
yeah.
He could go somewhere else, and the rest of his career could be for great. But for us, yes, he's a bust.
Steve was almost out of the league.
Yeah, he's borderline.
And I know people that will fight over Steve Young being better than Joe Montana. I have people out there that make great arguments of saying Steve Young's best years were wasted on the Niners because Joe was starting over him.
And I think it's a valid argument. I truly do.
I do too. I do too. I think if circa, anyway, that doesn't matter. So that's the Niners issue. So I want picks. And the draft's a shoot. The Niners clearly the Niners have clearly, had struggles drafting in the early rounds. I want as many shots at the dartboard as possible, because I think if you tell me, T, how do the Niners, one of the crew that I watched the game with yesterday walked up to me, we gave each other a dat hug, and it was like, all right, bro, stay safe, see you next year and everything like that. And he looked at me and goes, hey, baby, next year, he goes, end the quest for 6. I said, we're going to end the quest for 6, watching it right in the spot, brother. I was like, we're going to be right here. And I said, we're not leaving Santa Clara the whole month of January. What's up, media? So, what's the plan to do that? We have to hit in this draft. How do you do that? You get as many darts at the dartboard as possible.
Or you go guaranteed.
I'm all about
the guarantee. I want one instant impact that fixes a position, instantly. You could, for the most part, if you're picking within the top 12 to 15, you're getting someone you were believing is an instant fix to something on your team. I want an instant fix on something with somebody.
So let me ask you this, Jason, and we'll wrap it up here after this one. Merry Christmas, bro. We need to give Jacob Cowling targets in this last game. He ain't
you think he's getting
field,
in the game?
Bro. He ain't seen the field, cousin.
Lucky he's inactive in that game. He gets one play, and I remember seeing him running. I'm like, oh look, Cowling's in play. So I paid attention to him on that play, and I was like, and he's not on the field anymore.
I would be curious if Kyle would have had them. They never punted, so I'd be curious to see if Kyle would have had him back there catching punts. So let me ask you this: would you rather get a player that has the A plus ceiling and maybe a D plus floor, or would you rather get a player that has maybe a B plus ceiling, but his floor is maybe C plus?
A plus.
I'd
rather.
You want the A plus and just roll the dice on the floor?
Yeah, because if we are picking up, because we can pick anywhere from 10th to 14th now, depending on how strength of schedule plays out.
And all that.
If we pick 10th, whoever we pick there has to be instant. Like I want to pick. If we pick him, then if we pick a center, he's our starting center that day.
Yeah.
Or, day one. If we pick a defensive end, he is our defensive end starting opposite Bosa day one.
I'm with you in this. I'm with you, Jason, in the sense of we need to draft with 2025 in mind and not 26, 27. I mean, once you get to the later rounds, I'm cool with that. But rounds 1 through 4, if they're not going to make an impact in 2025, I'm not interested. I'm not.
And before we go, I know you were trying to wrap it up. Before we go, can we get a shout out to the line last night? I know Heck and Pleasance weren't great, but they played much better than expected. And Nick Sikel, you are a guard now. I know you were the backup center all year. You were the guard now. You're taking over for Aaron Banks, depending on what happens with Ben Barch coming back or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the very least, Nick Sikel, you are a guard now moving forward, because next year, either we bring in a highly ranked center, we draft one, but it seemed to work a lot better with Sikel there than it did Aaron Banks all year long for the most part.
Aaron Banks is gone.
But I mean, he could come back on a very cheap deal depending on his injury. But with that, he's not starting. At the most, he's a backup, practice squad type guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, I want to make sure that we gave props to those guys, because I'm not.
I was impressed.
I was worried.
I was impressed. For us to be in that ball game the way that we were up until the point where we were, which, like I said, until that second pick and that last touchdown, there was no point in this game that I thought we were going to lose until that last pick. and then they went right down the field and scored the touchdown. I said, all right, brother.
So like I said, I want to make sure we gave the
Yeah.
roses to those guys. Like I said, it wasn't
True.
great by any means, but was it an improvement? Yes, it was definitely an improvement, especially for a guy who'd been there for a week and a guy who'd been there for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Oh, also, Charlie Heck, his dad is the offensive line coach for the Chiefs. Little thing I didn't find out till this morning.
I did not know that. We live in Silicon Valley. The practice facility should be top notch. Why isn't there an indoor ice field with the water shower system installed 75 feet above?
Do any fields have a water system? Honestly, that I don't. I honestly don't know if any.
I don't believe so. I mean, I don't. There's probably some contents to this I'm missing, but I mean, look, Brock's going to be our quarterback. I think it's about the years because, like I mentioned to Jason last week, it's not necessarily just about how long you're committed to Brock. It's about how long you're committed to Kyle.
Yeah.
So look, when you're 6 foot 5/8 of an inch, there's just things that you're gonna live with. And please say I'm not saying that he's going to have this man's career, but being 6 foot didn't work against Drew Brees that bad. So I think what did we learn this year, Jason, from Brock Purdy? I think if you ask me, what did we learn? Is he a top MVP contender quarterback? No.
Only if he's got all the weapons and everybody's healthy and everything's moving like that, then yes, he will.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay. But is he a franchise quarterback? Do I believe that in the right circumstances, which any team will tell you it takes the right circumstances to win a championship? Do I believe the San Francisco 49ers can win a Super Bowl with Purdy at quarterback? I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. In the right circumstances.
I don't think he's put the team on his shoulder because we fucking suck and I'm going to drag you fuckers into the Super Bowl kind of a quarterback. But I do believe if everything's running right, he will excel. If everything's timed out, people aren't injured, everything like that, he will be perfectly fine and probably put up very good numbers.
So the number one thing I think that will dictate Brock Purdy's Niner career, how well do the Niners draft? Because clearly the players that are Brock Purdy left the field with later are eventually going to leave over the next couple years. I mean, obviously you and I talked, Kittle Corn, lifeline Niner. There's no reason for him to ever put on another team's jersey, But, Debo's not going to be here in a couple years. Hell, I'd be really curious. I'm going to look over that BA contract, see when the outs are out on that. Because, BA might not reach the end of his contract. Ricky, so there are going to be different weapons around Brock Purdy as he progresses in his career. So how well do the Niners draft him? If the Niners draft well, can keep consistent weapons around him and everything like that, Brock Purdy might win multiple championships. If they don't, and essentially the version of the Niners as we now know it are our last hurrah, and we don't get it done, then he probably won't. So I would say the number one factor in Brock Purdy, how we're going to view Brock Purdy in the scope of Niner history is going to be a lot of depend on this draft and the next draft,
So I'm going to say this: it wasn't Elway that drug to those 2 Super Bowl wins. That was Terrell Davis.
TD.
It was TD.
It was Terrell Davis.
Look, Elway had good years those 2 years, but TD had arguably the best 2 years in NFL history.
Terrell Davis made his Hall of Fame career off of those 2 years.
Yeah, he only played 6 years.
Yeah, he played very little. So
he didn't play long because it was migraines. Well, yeah, migraines.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, which what is that code word for? Let's be real. The man had fucking concussions.
Oh yeah,
Did
you see how he ran? He gave himself a concussion every place because he was knocking people over.
High salute.
Yeah, dude. I mean, TD, like I said, those 2 years where they won the back-to-back Super Bowls, he was just I don't think we'll ever see another 2-year stretch for a player like that again.
No,
It was just insane how good he was.
You saw it this year with CMC. It's just the health is the factor. You just
exactly.
can't do it.
And
Because the amount of
completely healthy
carries and touches that you need to have those type of seasons is just not sustainable for most people over 2 years.
Everything has to go right. Now he caught, lightning in a bottle for those 2 years.
Yep.
And then everything fell apart.
And it was so funny because Mike Shanahan told the story. Terrell Davis made the team on a special teams coverage the last preseason game. He ran down a kick, made the tackle, and then that's what led them to keep him on the roster in the fourth preseason game, and that turned into a Hall of Fame career. So don't ever tell me fourth preseason games don't matter, bro. Or 3 now, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. We got a Madden stream tomorrow.
Yep, Madden stream. We'll do our Friday show.
We're gonna rock and rolling on Friday and get ready for the end of the year.
Be the last one. So I know I said I wasn't drinking again until I got my job, but I was like, you know what? This is the last Friday show of the year. I gotta have something to drink. So I got some drink for Friday night.
Yeah, I think I might get a couple of drinks in on Friday night to kind of
gotta have that, say goodbye to the Friday night stream. Well, we'll do a few more Friday night streams afterwards, but eventually, we'll shut those down as the
we'll probably. I was thinking we'll take a couple weeks off, kick them back up when we'll probably do like we did last year, Tuesday offense, Friday defense. When we get to our draft previews and stuff like that. Obviously, we'll have our Friday show for the draft.
Yeah, we'll probably keep everything going full steam for the most part until the draft, or at least not full steam, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. We'll keep it cracking for y'all, and we'll put together. We'll have a meeting here. This is way normal than we. This way earlier. Because think about it, bro. The last time we didn't make the playoffs was 2020. So our whole structure at NFR was completely different.
Yeah,
you had just barely started to become my co-host. So that we had just gotten rid of Adam. You had barely gotten my co-host. To be my co-host and everything. So our whole structure was different the last time.
I said maybe 5 words a show because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. So this is
and now like TJ, shut up. I'm gonna get a word in.
This is a very unique situation. So we'll have a meeting here in the next couple of weeks to get off season.
I'm down for one intro. Just let me know, brother.
Yeah. I work, so I can join y'all. But yeah, Ansel, any time, bro. Anytime, whether it's Jason or both of us, you're always welcome to.
Well, he was talking about the media captain show. The show we do on Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I know y'all will probably start doing that here in a little bit, getting more into draft coverage and stuff like that. So we'll I'll set the plan, the soft plan and everything, and then we'll have a meeting. We'll kind of map out the off season. There might be some behind the scenes stuff that's changing. I'm debating on whether we're going to have a website anymore. There's a couple behind the scenes stuff that I'm debating, but we'll get rocking and rolling for y'all. All right, brother. See you Friday.
All right, everybody. Thank you for this. Even though the year sucks as the way it's ending, it's been a fun ride. Happy New Year. If anybody's going out drinking tonight, remember, AAA will give you a free ride home tonight. So you have no damn excuse to be drinking and driving if you're out doing that stuff tonight. Just call AAA. They'll take your drunk ass home. I don't want to have to be reading about none of you jackasses tomorrow. All right? Otherwise,
for real, bro.
bye for Ty Lava. One love. And I'm going to be corny. See y'all next year.
Yay! All right, y'all. That shit was hella corny. All right, y'all. Ditto to what Jason said. Please, we want everybody to make it home safe tonight. We don't want to see y'all in a judged by 12 or carried by 6. We don't want any type of situations. 2024 has taken too many people from us. We don't need to take any more from the last night. I shall see y'all on Friday. Make sure to check out our the last Madden stream of the year. Put a comment to let us know what y'all thought about the Madden stream. We're curious to see if we're going to bring it back for 2025. All right, y'all. And for hopefully the last time, because hopefully we win next week, please remember the San Francisco 49ers don't always lose a game, but when we do, we're still the best team in NFL history. Stay faithful, my friends.